Let me just ask a few other questions, more personal questions. Many in the audience here, all of us, are touched by the culture of divorce, adoption. I mean, I don't know anyone who doesn't say among my friends and loved ones, or in my own family, these things prevail. First, particularly for the youths in the audience, the young people. Sorry, that's from my cousin Eddie, great movie, watch it. For the youths in the audience, how should this affect reflections on this idea that a child has a right to her mother or his mother and father? What does it mean about what type of plans I ought to make in terms of marriage, cohabitation, sex? I think you've already touched on it, but perhaps you could say it again.
Yeah, I mean, adults don't make kids pay for their own choices and mistakes. If you make a mistake, make sure the kid doesn't pay for it, okay? Don't make choices that are going to make a kid shoulder the load for you. There's a really good chance that if you could talk to your parents, if you were in a difficult situation as a child, you would want some other adult next to them saying, don't make your kid pay for this, figure it out on your own. Whatever it's gonna take, go to counseling, you know, I'll help you, whatever it is, don't make your kid pay for this, right? You need to become the adult that you wish was talking to your parents when you were kids. And here's the good news, you can totally break the cycle. I mean, my parents divorced when I was 10. They had a good divorce. They were friends, my dad lived close by. I only got 50% of each one of them, but I at least got 50% of both of them. My dad dated and remarried. My mom, within a year after my parents divorced, partnered with another woman, and they've been together for 33 years, right? So they've been together for a long time. And so I recognize that even when my parents divorced, I didn't have any kind of Christian connection at all, right? But at least I still had my mom and dad. But I didn't have a whole lot of examples of what like healthy marriage and family life looked like. You know, I had good parents, and my mom was a good mom and my dad was a good dad, so thank God for that. My husband had a crap show for a childhood. I mean, it was the bad divorce, you know, where there was a lot of conflict. I'll leave it at that, a lot of conflict. You don't have to, you know, you can become the parents that you wish you had as a kid, okay? Like, we've been married for 22 years. We've got 4 awesome kids. He's totally hot. I mean, like, it's good. We're still you know, we still like have to work things through. We still are growing and learning. We were idiots when we got married. We didn't know anything about having a functional marriage and relationship. We had a few good examples, and so people in the church just mentored us. Like, every church that we went to, we'd just find another couple that we thought was doing it well and be like, hi, can you tell us everything you know? And they did. So, you know, just, and I told David this at dinner, you know, my husband, when he was 7, he got invited over to a friend's house, and his friend, his name was Chad, and, you know, well, please, like, Chad is such a fixture in all of my husband's childhood stories. And so he remembers going to Chad's house, and he's like, when they have dinner, they sit down together and don't yell. And if the kid does something wrong, there's nothing breaks. You know, they say, Chad, I think you're going to make a better decision next time, aren't you? And Chad would say, yes, sir, I am. And my husband was like, what kind of fairyland is this? You know, like, the mom and dad would steal kisses in the kitchen when nobody was looking, and what are they doing? And when he was a 7-year-old, he stood in the Palmer's living room, and he said, like, he didn't know that anything like that could exist. He stood in their living room, and he looked around, and he goes, when I'm a dad, my house is going to be like the Palmer house. It's not going to be like my house. And so, and he did it. He's like, not having sex, not getting divorced, I mean, no, not till marriage, and not after marriage, all right, like, no divorce after marriage, no sex before marriage, if that wasn't clear. And he did, you know? And I mean, like, we had a lot of problems to figure out when we first got married, but it's a great life. You can totally do it.
I often emphasize to the students about this, that there's a great deal of both genetic evidence and also anthropological evidence that everybody comes from the whole world comes from an unbroken succession of male-female bonds. Okay, some of them, but all of us. I mean, it strikes such a strange thing, but to tell the truth, that that is in fact the only thing that all human beings have in common, except for the fact that we're all the name human being is unbroken succession of male. So, and all of us have, if we could trace all of our ancestry, we all have violence, adultery, just like our Lord Jesus Christ. His genealogy is given on purpose. And as St. Jerome said, it's given that so that everybody knows he's a human being. They don't even mention the holy marriages. It's always the bad stuff. They just list all the fathers. When I get to like, oh, that was a bad one. So the purpose of it is, but the important thing is that everybody has it in our background. Lots of, hey, let's hang out together, let's chat, let's converse, let's have babies together, and let's stay together. It's actually not like it's a very human thing to do. And we have deep genetic and other sort of biological things that would incline us in it. It's not like getting us, getting on a rocket ship or getting a magic carpet ride. It's not that magical, actually. And it's never magical. It's hanging out, tolerating each other, sex, babies, and tolerating each other still. And our ancestors did it many, many, many times under worse conditions than we have in terms of physical, emotional, and other strain. You have it in you. You really do.
It was so professorial. That setup was awesome. I will say, touching on that, on our leadership, our staff, and our followers, we have Catholics, Mormons, nuns, as in N-O-N-E, nuns, like no identification. We're going to be training a Muslim leader next year. We've got people who identify as gay, people who identify as gender dysphoric. Certainly we have followers who call themselves trans. We've got Republicans and Democrats. I mean, people from all across the globe. Within 1 week, I heard from people on every continent but our Antarctica, right? I mean, like, this is
penguin marriages. We have.
So the thing is that, I've got Jewish, very enthusiastic Jewish supporters and very anti-Jewish supporters, like very pro-Palestine supporters. You know what I mean? Like, they will not agree on anything except kids should have a right to their mom and dad. Because, come on, I mean, in this identity politics land, where we speak a bazillion different languages and we live in different places and we have different socioeconomic statuses and political affiliations, and we're encouraged to identify ourselves based on everything, right? The only thing that we have in common, besides the fact that we are alive, is that we both came from a man and woman. That's it. Like, that is the thing that we all have in common now. And that's why, another reason why, I think this is the approach to talking about everything that has to do with marriage and family. Because we all get it, right? We've all been there. Whether we've been there and go, oh my gosh, I could never do without my mom or my dad, I needed them both so desperately. Or we're going, yeah, I haven't seen my dad in 10 years, I can't even talk about it, I'm so sad. Right? We all get it.